I was angry during the majority of the episode, and let me tell you, I cannot wait to see Gilead burn down. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Joe and this is the channel for delusional theories where I review all of your favorite TV shows. And today, Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Final Season Episode 7. Listen, I'm going to discuss this in order and the timestamps are going to be below, and the order is the following. Nick's roast. We missed Nikki Glazier. We miss her. Nick's roast, then Aunt Lydia and her annoying ass quivering lip. Control your lips, Aunt Lydia. Why do I have to look at that every single time you're being a hypocrite? I'll talk about it. Serena and her land of delusions. And finally, the fourth, the revolution, the plan to take down Gilead. I cannot wait for this, and I will be analyzing every detail of it because I just want to see it burn. But anyway, if you want to support me and the work that I do at the channel, you can subscribe, like, share, comment, join my membership here, or join me on Patreon. But now to Nick Blaine's roast. I was so angry. I was so angry because I wanted him to be more like pleading, more, I'm so sorry I screwed up. I'm so sorry. I'm such a coward. And he didn't plead. He didn't plead. He was just like, yeah, it's my survival. I mean, all of those women died for my survival, but it's my survival. Boy, get a grip. Like, I couldn't even be mad at all the people roasting Nick because baby boy deserved it. He deserved it. And I mean, Nick didn't give any names, okay? This is what I was talking about in my previous review. Did he give any names? Is anyone, like, going to be in trouble because of what he told Commander Wharton? He didn't give any names, and he didn't need to, but because the consequences were already horrible enough. Because I thought, okay, maybe they'll send them to the colonies, maybe they'll make some of them handmaids. No, there was a literal bloodbath in the bathroom, in the goddamn showers. Like, you could see that June was completely in shock, that years and years and years of her trust were completely destroyed. And she was even being like moderate talking to him. She wasn't shouting at him and angry at him and any of that shit. She was trying to understand what happened. And Nick did not plead. He was like those mean girls that go too far and then are like, you know, I was justified. I was justified. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And by the time, this is why he wanted June to run away with him, isn't it? Because he knew what they had done. By the time that Nick went to June's, they probably had already killed all the not handmaids, the Jezebels, all the Jezebels. That's why he went there. That's why he offered to run away with her, is because he knew that they were already all dead. And then we see him with Rita, where Rita is trying to appeal to the humanity in him. She's trying to, tell him that he still has a chance to be a good man. He still has a chance to do the right thing, that whatever happened doesn't need to be the end of his journey with his alliance with Mayday and June's life or whatever. She's giving him hope for his humanity, and she's telling him, I am counting on you to save my family, from this fascist regime that you benefit from. And he literally says to her, the only person you can count on in Gilead is yourself. Easy to say that when you are in a position of power. This is like, I've been trying to be super moderate in my comments and like discuss with the people who are very hardcore supportive of Nick and with the people that are very hardcore critical of Nick. But I mean, I think this is not arguable that he benefits from the system and he is in a position where he can not only be safe from their abuse, but he takes part in the oppression of the system because he can do that. He can decide not to help. He can decide to stop being a good person because baby girl Boo, who's in love with, supposedly, just is in a tiff with him. Because that's what happened. He lost June's attention. June didn't even want him to drive him to the border. She didn't want like a cutesy little goodbye again. And he's like those teenage boys that are super nice to the girl they like and nasty to everyone else. That's what he was like in this episode. I was so disappointed with Nick. I can't even. And the way that he treated Rita, honestly, maybe she needed that for everything that is coming for her, or that she's coming for her alliance to the revolution, which I will talk about. And then on the other side of this Nick betrayal, we have how people reacted to June, which I think is absolutely insane to react that way to June, because I need y'all to remember that June is a victim of a fascist regime, that she was essayed multiple times during years, that she was tortured, beaten, abused, treated basically as a sex slave for years, and then she comes back. And yeah, she has this betrayal. Nick betrayed her trust. She had the realization that he is a commander, he is in a position of power, and he can choose to stop helping her if it doesn't benefit him anymore, or if it starts being too bad for him, because his head was on the line. It was either give them Jezebels or die at that point. And he chose to live. So, like, that part I can understand. He is not a good person by doing this, but I can understand the survival instinct. But June realizes this and she goes back, and this is probably one of the moments where we see her the most broken in the past like 2 seasons or something, because this is a core belief that she had, that she could trust this person, that in the midst of this snake pit of venomous people, there was one good person that was like the hope of the whole thing. You know, one person in a position of extreme power who was actually good and wanted to help her bring down this system. And she lost that in this episode. Completely lost that. She will never trust him again like she did before. Even if he redeems himself, which I will talk about this possibility, she will never trust him again. Their relationship is over completely. There's no way back. Even if he becomes an ally with Mayday, the same way that Aunt Lydia will become an ally, the relationship is over. So all of this happens to June, and every single person in her life, apart from Moira, is just critical. It's just, punching her even more while she is down. Like, the way that Luke literally said what Holly said to her, like, you shouldn't have fallen in love with a literal Nazi. What do you mean? What do you mean? She was literally trapped in a fascist regime with nothing and no one, completely alone and vulnerable and being abused. Of course she did. And I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments being like, yeah, told you so, Nick is a horrible person. Yeah, he isn't the person that everyone hoped he would be. Like, he didn't choose June all the way to the end, but he's not like the other commanders. Like, you cannot convince me. Maybe he is becoming now. Maybe he is. But for a long, long time, he was decent to her. He helped her. Of course, she formed this relationship with him. And I mean, I will talk about this, but I still think there's a little bit of hope for something here. Not for her relationship with him, not for him to be like this hero or whatever, but I will explain it. I loathed the way that everyone reacted to June as if she was the worst person in the world for trusting someone who has helped her countless times in the past. Of course she trusted him. And here is where Moira is the baddest bitch on the block, because she understood. And when she said, Moira, by the way, in case you don't remember, is a lesbian. And when she said that if a commander at the Jezebels had treated her nicely, she probably would have fallen in love with him as well. Like, this is what I wanted. This is all I wanted, is for someone to understand what is happening with June right now. And and even Lawrence had the audacity to criticize June for trusting Nick. I wanted his head on a spike right then and there. The audacity of this man. But anyway, apart from Nick's roast, and June's roast as well, because she was roasted just as much as he was. For being in love with him, for trusting him, she was roasted. I need you all to understand how absolutely mental the reaction of these people were to June's, because June didn't betray anyone. She didn't betray anyone. She didn't do anything wrong. She did everything that she thought was right, and I mean, with the information that she had right then, it was right. I hate the way these people reacted to her betrayal. Like, they should have been sympathetic. They should have, come to her like Moira came to her. Like, I'm so sorry that this person that you've trusted for years, the father of your child, the person who has helped you and saved you countless times, I'm so sorry that he failed now and that you lost complete trust in a person that you had trust before. I'm so sorry that you lost another person to this freaking regime. But only Moira. Jesus, I'll stop talking about this. But about Nick's character. In this episode, we see him kind of resentful. We see him being a pouty boy about the fact that June doesn't want to have anything to do with him again. But we know that his episode is coming in episode 9. And we know that the people involved in the show has always portrayed Nick as a good character. And obviously he isn't. Like, obviously he has a lot of flaws, and he is enjoying his power as High Commander. He is. I see you, Nick. I see you enjoying the luxury of being a High Commander in a fascist regime. I see you. But I still have hope for a turnaround, because as I've said before many times, and I still stick to it, and I will until the end of the season, until I'm proven wrong, I guess. But Nick has always been a hopeful character for me. Nick has always been this little shred of hope that in a situation like this, in situations so horrible as Gilead, that someone, like the ant we meet in this episode, which I will talk about, love the ant, beautiful, that people in positions of power, in these messed up regimes, can still decide to make the right choice. And we have Rita appealing to him here, which he didn't care, but he was hot-headed. Like, he had just come back from breaking up with June, basically. His only reason for leaving is June at this point, and he just lost her. So of course he's hot-headed. But I still have hope for Nick. Nick is such a hopeful character for me. I need to believe that men like him can be rehabilitated. I need to believe that men like him can actually learn their lesson and decide to do the right thing at some point. I need to believe that. I don't know about you, but the world is getting scarier and scarier, and I see men like him all the freaking time, and I need to believe that at least a minority of them can actually change and can actually decide to stick to the good side, even if it's just in tiny little things. I need to have that hope. So my hope for Nick is still somewhat intact. I'm really expecting episode 9. And at this point, I feel like we won't get that, to be honest. At this point, I feel like episode 9 will come and he will remain a coward and he will remain in the position that is safest to him. I have that fear. I think it's a very real possibility, but I will not lose the hope until I get the confirmation that he will completely align with Gilead. Until I have the confirmation, probably in episode 9 or episode 10, that he has decided to become the scum of Gilead, just like the other commanders. Until I have that for sure, I will remain hopeful about this character that has been incredibly hopeful to me for all these seasons. And yeah, that's my stance on Nick. If you want to hate him in the comments, totally fine. Go ahead, girl. I got you. Now about this Aunt Lydia. Aunt Lydia and her quivering lip. I tell you, I was so annoyed. Every literal scene of Aunt Lydia in this episode was Aunt Lydia and her quivering lip. I don't care. Aunt Lydia, I don't care. And I mean, the hypocrisy in every single scene. The hypocrisy of this woman. Oh, I care so much for Janine. I'm so happy that she's alive. I saw her in the window being abused and beaten. Will I do anything? No. It's the system. I can't. This person... This person and her I don't know what the actress was doing in those scenes, but that quivering lip annoyed me more than Nick's betrayal. I'm not even joking. Did you guys notice? My God, I was so done with the quivering lip. But yeah, when she went to the Jezebels, I was just thinking, what are you doing here, Aunt Lydia? Like, leave them alone. Not even in death. They can be rid of you. Leave these girls alone. Jesus. And again, her quivering lip, her crying at the Jezebels, seeing the slaughter. As if you actually care about them. And then her outburst when the rebel aunt told her that Janine was going to the bells, that she was so happy. I mean, think a little bit about it, Lydia, because Janine went to the bells straight from the Jezebels, not even having her handmade clothes. Do you really think that's what they want her for? Do you? Freaking Aunt Lydia, honestly. And then, oh my god, you guys, because my theory video that I posted last week was about what is going to turn Aunt Lydia. Because I've heard people saying that Janine's death is the thing that's going to turn Aunt Lydia. Well, clearly not, because we just saw it. We just saw Aunt Lydia thinking that Janine died. And she just went back. She went back to the Red Center. She was in a mood. She didn't want to be disturbed. And that was it. That was it. And it wasn't just... Oh my god, it wasn't just Janine's death. It was how many women? Like dozens, at least like 15, 20 women were killed. And she just went back and was in a mood. I'm so curious to see what they're going to do to turn Aunt Lydia. I just hope, because we know Janine will be there, I just hope that she hears it from Janine. I really want Janine to tell her in her face that she wishes she would be dead or something like that. Like, I need to see this. I need to see this confrontation. Because even when she went to the bells, and Janine was in the mirror, kind of like begging her to take her out of there, her face beaten to a pulp, and Aunt Lydia just quivered her lip. My god. The goddamn quivering lip. Anyway, Serena. I was just about to say Serena van der Woodsen. Serena got a little shot of reality, and you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised. I wouldn't put it past him that Commander Wharton organized the bridal shower to make sure that Serena would be mocked by her peers, and she would want to shut them up, to show them that she's the Queen of Gilead. I wouldn't put it past him. I would bet that Commander Wharton was the one who suggested that the wives do a bridal shower so that Serena can see that she has no place in Gilead if she doesn't conform. Honestly, Serena is such a delusional character. To think, literally, all the wives know exactly what Gilead is about. It's about power and control. It's about exerting power over those who don't have power themselves, over the vulnerable, and controlling every single variable to get a world that they want, in the image that they want. Literally, Serena is the only person being like, oh, but the handmaids are vessels, they're sacred vessels of the Lord's light, and all the other wives are like, girl, that's not what Gilead is about. Why are you talking about what handmaids will do after they give us babies? They're not people. They're sex slaves. Like, all the wives know. And she's just like, fertility clinic, the handmaids will have a life. And then they're like, girl, leave it to the man to put them in Jezebels and assault them every other day. I was angry. I was so angry during the majority of this episode, guys. But honestly, Serena and Aunt Lydia should create a club. That's what they should do. They should create a club of 2 members, which is just the most delusional people in Gilead who actually believe the values of Gilead. The only 2 people in Gilead who believe the values of Gilead. For real. And she agreed. God damn it, she agreed to do the wedding in Boston. Wharton was talking about their house in Boston. Everything is going to take place in Boston, and Serena is going to be a wife again, and she's going to be under a saddle again. So now the plan. You guys, when those scenes started to play, Commander Lawrence coming, Mark there, them planning. We see Commander Lawrence taking the little box from Mark. We see him give the little box to Rita. We see Rita's war face on after she had the conversation with Nick Nick and she's like, you're gonna see how we get this revolution started. You don't want to help me? I will take my family out of here without you. Thank you very much, Nick. I love those scenes. But let's talk about the plan, because if there's one thing I'm going to obsess over, is how to take down Gilead. Because we know we might not be that distant from that. I talk a lot about politics and then I cut all of it out in my videos, but we have elections coming up soon and the right wing is still rising. There have been scandals of corruption, there have been scandals of pedophilia, and the voters don't care. They still want those right wing politicians there because they promised them money. And it's everything anyone cares about. So the left in Portugal is dying. Let's all celebrate the death of freedom. June is about to give up. She's had enough. A person she's trusted for years and years and years of her life just betrayed her. She's had enough of this bullshit in Gilead. But then Lawrence comes and he's like, you still can help them, This doesn't have to be the last chapter of June Osborne in Gilead. And because she's turning her back, she's like, no, this is the last chapter. And baby boy Lawrence is like, Janine is alive. And that's what stops her. Because June is what? A great freaking person. Because everyone around her is saying, oh, how can you be in love with a Nazi? But only a person with so much freaking empathy could actually feel that way about a commander in Gilead. So let's all celebrate that, please. So she stays and she has the idea for the attack on the wedding. And I was so happy when I saw the gears turning in her head and the idea coming to her mind and her mouthing it out. I was just happy because a betrayed June is a driven June, and a driven June is going to take Gilead down. So let's break it down, because I'm so excited for this goddamn plan and for the final 3 episodes of this season. I'm going to have so much fun. Let's break it down. Number 1, Lawrence, in his double mission excellence, brought June and Moira to the Red Center while visiting there to make sure that Aunt Lydia is very far away from Boston during the wedding. Great plan. And then we see the aunt taking the girls downstairs, and this is the rebel aunt, and the rebel aunt that we've seen in the trailers, and I was so excited to see her because she's so chill. With the guards, with Aunt Lydia, she's like, I'm so secure in my rebelness that I can take anyone they throw at me, that I can take any challenge, that I can talk my way out of anything. Love her. And we see her taking the girls. The aunt is prepared with the network of Marthas, with the handmaids in the Red Center. They're all ready for it. Adore it. But June now has to figure out how Janine is going to get out of the psychopaths that are the Bells and join them at the wedding. Now, let's explore her avenues and how she could do this. 1, Nick. No way in hell she's going to go to Nick. No way in hell. I'm so sorry to tell you this. It's not going to happen. 2, Lawrence. He has some influence because the commanders still have to pretend that he's one of them and that they care about him and that they listen to him. But I don't think he would risk it. I don't think he's going to put his head out for anything right now because he is on a thin line. And I mean, if they take out Serena of New Bethlehem and Nick is now aligning with Wharton, they could feel a little bold and emboldened and encouraged and just take down Lawrence. So I don't think he's going to demand anything. 3, Serena. But I mean, if June goes to Serena, Serena is going to be suspicious. Why the hell does she want Janine at her wedding? What is she planning? So definitely not Serena. So who the hell is going to take Janina out of the house? Well, they said it in the episode. The Marthas. The Martha network is in place. And I mean, Bell and his wife are going to have to go to the wedding, so they're going to have to vacate the house. So the house will potentially be free of, the commander and the wife, and maybe the network of Marthas can either get June in there to take Janine, or get Janine out and put her together with the handmaids to go to the wedding. This is my theory for how they'll get Janine out, through the Marthas network. Number 2, they are planning to explode. They're planning to to do the explosions, to explode the bombs during the attack on the wedding. And during the attack and the explosion, they'll use the chaos to allow the US Army in to take over Boston. I mentioned something like this when I was doing the breakdown of the trailer with Nick's theory stuff, that the US military could potentially come in during the explosion because it would be a good distraction and they would go in. And this seems to be their plan. However, we see in the previews that the bombs don't explode until the hanging. And we see the handmaids kind of running away after the wedding. So I'm assuming, and we see Serena kind of happy after the wedding. So I'm assuming that something is going to go wrong with the plan. Again, something's going to go wrong with the plan at the wedding. They might do the attack. I mean, they will do the attack for sure because that's why they are hung. This goddamn verb. That's why they are at the hanging. Because they do the plan at the wedding and then they run away and there's some explosion as well. So something will go wrong at the wedding and they'll have to do the explosion at the hanging. They're all going to be at the hanging. Luke is going to explode his bombs. All the rebels will start fighting the guards. And that's when the US Army will come in. And someone pointed out that they come into Lawrence's house, which makes sense because they would have to need a place to, regroup and to do all their strategy and planning. So it makes sense that it is out of Commander Lawrence's house. I just hope that in the end, they take Boston, and that's where the retaking of the US as a country restarts, is them taking Boston and starting from then on. And then we'll see the testaments with Gilead still going on, but the rebel force is gaining terrain. I hope that's what it is. And in between the wedding and the hanging is when we're going to see that goddamn scene of Commander Wharton being like to Nick, we need to punish these rebels, we need to punish all the handmaid rebels, including your boo, June. Let's see what Nick does in episode 9. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I was very angry at it for the majority of the episode, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let's all drown our sorrows in the comments and talk about this Nick bullshit. I want to hear what you have to say from the side of the people who have always hated him, and from the side of the people who have supported him, and from the side of the people who are like, it depends on what he does, like me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. Recently, I've been getting a lot of cute comments from you, being super nice at me and complimenting my voice, which is rare because some people think I sound like a man. And being super nice. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. This is one of the things I really wanted on YouTube, to create a nice community around me. And you guys are building. You guys are stacking up. So it feels really nice. I don't know how to say these things, but it feels really nice. And yeah, as usual, if you want to support me and the work that I do here, you can like the video, comment, share, subscribe, join the membership at YouTube, join Patreon, and I'll see you there, everywhere, because I'm not gonna go away. I'm really, really, really excited for the new season of Criminal Minds, and it's coming this week, and it's going to kind of converge right at the ending of the Handmaids. We have three more episodes of the Handmaids and then a bunch of Criminal Minds. And that's going to be probably my main focus on the channel for the duration of this season 18 of Criminal Minds. I'm so excited, you guys. If you're not excited, get excited because it's going to be so much fun. They're bringing Voight back. And I think maybe as the main villain, I hope he escapes. This is what I say in my trailer breakdown. But yeah, I'm so excited for that. If season 6 of Handmaid's Tale ends well, in a good note, I'm going to be so pumped to go into the Criminal Minds season, because these are shows that I've been watching for years and years and years. And it just feels nice when they do it well and you feel satisfied. You feel not fed up, you feel full, you feel properly fed. So yeah, that's me, and I'll see you tomorrow probably, or Thursday. Bye guys.